Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. The 1955 Redman tobacco set marked the end of the line for the big cards that came attached to pouches of chewing tobacco. The set again contained 50 cards, just like the 1954 set. The players were still selected by J.G. Taylor Spink, the editor of the Sporting News. Just like the previous 3 years, the set maintained its 3.5 by 4 inch dimensions that include a half-inch tab at the bottom of the card. Collectors could submit 50 tabs for a Redman Big League style baseball cap. Each card features a colorful quality likeness of the player against a solid background or ballpark. The player's name, team, and basic biographical information can be found within a white box on the front of the card. As with the 1953 and 54 issues, the card number is also included. But unlike the 52 and 53 sets, the tab did not include the card number or reference to the player. The player images are nearly identical to the 1954 issue. Key players in the set include Yogi Berra, Whitey Ford, Willie Mays, Pee Wee Reese, and Duke Snider. The players to appear in all 4 Redman tobacco sets were Yogi Berra, Warren Spahn, Red Shandiest, Pee Wee Reese, Nellie Fox, George Kell, Duke Snider, Bob Porterfield, and Bobby Avila. For those collectors not concerned with the tab, cards that have it removed are worth a fraction as compared to the complete versions, and it offers a great opportunity to own original Hall of Fame cards on a budget. Without the tabs, however, it is sometimes difficult to determine which year a certain card comes from. It is usually easiest to determine the year by looking at the expiration date of the offer on the back. Subtract 1 from the expiration year to determine the year of the card. In this video, I'm going to show the top 10 most valuable cards from the 1955 Redman tobacco set based on their PSA 5 values. The values stated are for cards that still contain the tab at the bottom of the card. I'll also give the values of those cards in higher grades as well as the population count of those grades. As a side note, because most of the cards have very low population counts, the values in some grades might not reflect current prices since it may be a year or two or even more since a copy in that grade has been sold. Now, before I get to the top 10, here are the cards that just missed the top 10. At number 15, the Ted Kluszewski card. At number 14, the Bob Lemon card. At number 13, the Early Win card. At number 12, the Nellie Fox card. And at number 11, the Pee Wee Reese card. So, which cards made the top 10 list? Let's go find out. At number 10, we have the Red Shandiest card. In a PSA 5, there have been 15 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $75. There have been 24 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $120. There have been 17 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $180. There have been 21 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $138. There's only been 1 graded a PSA 9. The only PSA 9 sale was in November of 2015 through Heritage and sold for $1,076. And there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Red Shandiest card. At number 9, we have the Richie Ashburn card. In a PSA 5, there have been 27 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $75. There have been 17 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $240. There have been 14 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $75. There have been 13 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $252. There have been 2 graded a PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale took place in January of 2017 through Memory Lane and sold for $1,241 placing the Richie Ashburn at the number 4 spot in terms of PSA 9 graded copies on this top 10 list. And there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Richie Ashburn card. At number 8, we have the Carl Erskine card. In a PSA 5, there have been 17 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $80. There have been 15 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $55. There have been 20 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $60. There have been 15 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $214. There have been 3 graded a PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale was in February of 2018 through a PWCC listing on eBay and sold for $490. And there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Carl Erskine card. At number 7, we have the Duke Snider card. In a PSA 5, there have been 23 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $80. There have been 38 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $103. There have been 17 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $198. There have been 23 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $405. There's only been 1 graded a PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale took place in January of 2017 through Memory Lane and sold for $2,510, placing the Duke Snider at the number 3 spot in terms of PSA 9 graded copies on this list. And there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Duke Snider card. At number 6, we have the Mini Minoso card. In a PSA 5, there have been 16 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $99. There have been 19 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $141. There have been 18 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $179. There have been 26 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $338. There have been 2 graded a PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale was in September of 2022 through eBay and sold for $1,009. And there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Mini Minoso card. At number 5, we have the Whitey Ford card. In a PSA 5, there have been 17 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $99. There have been 26 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $149. There have been 24 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $225. There have been 21 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $360. There have been 3 graded a PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale was in May of 2020 through eBay and sold for $1,065. And there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Whitey Ford card. At number 4, we have the Larry Doby card. In a PSA 5, there have been 22 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $138. There have been 17 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $86. There have been 18 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $156. There have been 15 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $635. There's only been 1 graded a PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale was in November of 2015 through Heritage and sold for $1,076. And there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Larry Doby card. At number 3, we have the Warren Spahn card. In a PSA 5, there have been 24 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $175. There have been 24 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $86. There have been 17 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $100. There have been 17 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $417. There have been 2 graded A PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale was in January of 2017 through Memory Lane and sold for $1,128, placing the Warren Spawn at the number 5 spot in terms of PSA 9 graded copies on this list. And there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Warren Spawn card. At number 2, we have the Yogi Berra card. In a PSA 5, there have been 31 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $202. There have been 21 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $375. There have been 20 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $430. There have been 17 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $650. There's only been 1 graded A PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale took place in November of 2016 through Heritage and sold for $3,107, placing the Yogi Berra also at the number 2 spot in terms of PSA 9 graded copies on this list. And there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Yogi Berra card. And at number 1, we have the Willie Mays card. In a PSA 5, there have been 32 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $664. There have been 42 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $816. There have been 33 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $1,058. There have been 26 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $810. There have been 3 graded A PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale took place in October of 2021 through Memory Lane and sold for $9,101, also placing the Willie Mays at the number 1 spot in terms of PSA 9 graded copies on this list. And just like all the others, there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Willie Mays card. But there you go, the top 10 most valuable cards from the 1955 Red Man Tobacco set. As always, would love to know what you think about the set and the cards that made the top 10 list. And make sure you check out next week's episode where I take a look at the 1954 Red Heart dog food set. And if you've missed either of the last 2 episodes in this series, you can check them out right here. And with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.